Hello, this is Tony Heller, the climate guy setting the record straight about climate. Every day we're bombarded with fake news about climate from the press. All it takes to become a climate skeptic is to look at this fake news and do a small amount of analysis on it. Let's start by looking at this bit of fake news from the BBC. They say, very strong climate change signal in record June heat. And then right down below they say Britain experienced its warmest June day since the famous heat wave of 1976. In other words, it wasn't record June heat at all. It was cooler than 1976. That was during the global cooling scare. How does that prove climate change or global warming? The BBC is spreading fake news about the climate, but there's nothing new about that. A few years ago, they said the Arctic would be ice-free by 2013. And they also said, you can argue that our projection of 2013 is already too conservative. Well, the Arctic isn't ice-free, and in fact, there's been no change in average Arctic sea ice extent over the past decade. This data is from the National Snow and Ice Data Center in Boulder, Colorado. The BBC is spreading fake news about climate. But of course they're not alone. The entire fake news press is doing this. Here's another heatwave article from Vanity Fair. Let's look at all the different things they're lying about. The first thing they got wrong is that they don't even know what the date is. They say it's August 2017. Well, July just started. The article reads, how extreme heat could leave swaths of the planet uninhabitable. Last year in Kuwait, the Earth's hottest temperature topped 129 degrees, a tie with Death Valley's sizzling 2013 high. The first thing Vanity Fair is lying about is claiming that 129 degrees in 2013 is Death Valley's record high. In fact, Death Valley's record high came 100 years earlier in 1913. In fact, during this week in 1913, Death Valley had 5 consecutive days 129 degrees or above. On July 9th, it was 129, then 134, the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth. That was followed by 129, 130, and 131. Vanity Fair is lying about the climate. They're employing the typical alarmist tactic of erasing the past. But their story about the present is also fake news. There's nothing unusual about the heat in the Middle East. It does this every year. This is an article from today from Gulf News Weather. Why it's hot over the UAE now. Forecasters say sizzling temperatures are normal for the month of July. Dubai. If you're one of those who feels it's hotter this summer than last year, then you're wrong. Probably it's your mind that's playing tricks on you, because the heat and humidity are relatively the same this year compared to summer months past, forecasters said. So not only wasn't it record heat in the Middle East, in fact it wasn't even anything unusual. Vanity Fair is 100% fake news. But there's nothing new about this. People have actually been imagining climate change since at least 1871. Here's an article from the Brisbane Courier dated January 10, 1871. Imaginary changes of climate. A plentiful crop of speculation from weather prophets and projectors, and half-instructed meteorologists, and all the philosophic tribe of Laputa in general, to whom the periodical press now affords such fatal facilities. Exactly like what we're seeing now from the BBC and Vanity Fair. Every season is sure to be extraordinary. Almost every month one of the driest or wettest or windiest, coldest or hottest ever known. Much observation, which ought to correct a tendency to exaggerate, seems in some minds to have rather a tendency to increase it. The press keeps propagating all of these dire warnings about the climate, but it's all fake news. Albert Einstein famously said, only 2 things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not so certain about the former. From my experience, at least 97% of what you read in the press about climate is fake news. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science for a long time.